Good day everyone, my name is Mary Ann H. Saison, a BS Ed English student. So for today's video, we will be having a discussion about distinct features of Chinese English. First in line is we have the distinctive features of the levels of phonology. So when we say phonology, it associates with the speech or the articulation of sound. We have English varieties has its own peculiarities in pronunciation. Meaning, Chinese people who speak Chinese English, when the speech itself doesn't change the meaning or doesn't change the meaning on what is they wanted to mean in that communication. In Chinese English, it is quite understandable and reasonable, at least in the levels of phonology. A language phenomena with its capacity to voice ideas clearly and effectively, reveals its culture, style, and national identity in a very natural manner. Next, features of Chinese English is what we call the distinctive features at the level of vocabulary. So that is why we have the word vocabulary borrowing. So refer for this example. If we come to enclose a language by itself, then the essence of learning will be isolated. So, due to these factors such as migration, colonization, or even trading or trades, here comes language contact. When we say language contact, it associates with the vocabulary borrowing, and the vocabulary borrowing there, it is the new speeches, the fresh ideas, fresh concepts that will be added in a communication when we do communicate with other people. That is why English has borrowed a large amount of words from Chinese, and some of them have become part and parcel of the English language. Next in line is we have the distinctive features at the level of sentences. Chinese refer pretaxes, and they resort to reasoning for achieving logical coherence. So Chinese refer pretaxes, it is the placing of clauses or phrases one after another. So it resorts for reasoning for achieving logical coherence. So in this one, in Chinese English, they don't use too lengthy sentences. Rather, they wanted it to be clear and concise when communicating. For this example, one for all for one. Next, sentences without subjects. So in Chinese English, instead of putting subject in a sentence, like for example, Mary Ann, long time no see, they cut the word Mary Ann, the subject itself, since they are already communicating to each other. So for example, Mary Ann is here and Ashley is here. Then Ashley is saying to Mary Ann that long time no see. So in Chinese English, they don't use or they don't put subjects in a sentence or phrases. Instead, they are very direct to the point. Instead of mentioning the subject, they mention only what they wanted to say in that subject. For example, long time no see. Next, parallel structure characterized by conciseness, rhythm, and symmetric beauty also wins the affection of Chinese people and makes itself at home in Chinese English. So, for example, toward the people, you are warmer than a charcoal. So, in Chinese English, they in constructing a sentence in constructing a sentence, they put too much affection that will give the readers the warm and the feelings it wanted to, or the sentences wanted to pertain in the readers. Next, China English, or the Chinese English, always uses repetition to reinforce ideas. So in Chinese English, in constructing a sentences, like for this example, it is a poem. So they uses repetition to reinforce ideas. For example, let us soar at the greatest speed. Let us soar with a spirit that knows no fear. Let us, taking off from today, soar off towards tomorrow. Let us make of every day a new starting point. So it uses the repetition of the let us word to reinforce the idea. And last but not the least, the distinctive features at the level of text and discourse. So Chinese prefer a roundabout way of presenting the main ideas, meaning Chinese English doesn't usually do presenting of main ideas in a simple manner. For example, let's refer to describing a scenery. They don't usually say simple sentences to describe a scenery. On the other hand, or they usually present ideas in a creative way, like pertaining to the theme of that scenery, describing the scenery itself with the different analysis and describing such things like that. Next is Chinese communicative, or communicate in a manner conducive to what intercultural communication pundits call an implicit social environment. Therefore, China English produces an effective way for cross-cultural communication and comprehension, which will finally raise the level of human beings' perception.